One of the most important parenting principles is creating friendship with your son or with your daughter. Unfortunately, in many cases, we make an assumption that our children are our friends, but if truth be told, they are our children, not our friends. Because friendship requires much more than simply becoming a son or a daughter. It will be important to understand that there will be other things that make you know whether you are really friends or not. And you need to ask yourself whether that is what you can say you have done in order to qualify for that friendship. You may actually love your child, but you are not still friends. Because love is a very important component of friendship, but not the only part of friendship. It will be important to understand if somebody is going to be called your friend, there will be 3 or 4 things that must happen. Number one, we can't say we are friends if we don't have interest in one another. I must show interest in the person, interest in the things the person likes, interest in the things he is interested in, for him to value me or to recognize me as a friend. And so that will be very, very critical. Your child needs to know that you are interested in what they are interested in. You are not using your child to meet your objectives, which is the second part of friendship. People normally become friends with the people who recognize and treat them with dignity. If you are looking at me as a slave, I will certainly be your slave and you'll be my master, but you'll not be friends. The moment you want us to be friends, it will be important that I must feel you recognize me and you are protecting my dignity. That's why I enjoy being with you, because you appreciate who I am and are happy with who I am. You are not trying to change me. You're not trying to, you don't think there is something wrong with me, so wrong that every time we meet, you are trying to correct me. I think and that becomes difficult for a parent, because you saw this baby in the maternity. Now how do you become friends to that extent? Thirdly and importantly, for somebody to be friends with you, it must be give and take. I must be willing to listen to my friend. It cannot be one way, me talking to them and they are not talking to me, or they talking to me and I can't reply, I can't talk back to them. We will not be friends. I can be a student learning from him, but to be friends, it must be give and take. It must be done both ways. We must, of necessity, do things in a way that will ensure that we are actually doing things in a way that makes the person know that he is appreciated. So every parent is expected to love their children. Every child is expected to love their parents. After all, that's part of the reason why they relate well together. And our example for that is God himself, who loves us and is interested in us. And I think that will be that. But what is love when we talk about that we love each other? I think we are talking about a commitment of the will. I have made a decision to love someone. A commitment and will to something. In other words, love is not just a feeling. It's a commitment. I will love this person. The feeling may come in the process, but it's not necessarily the example of love. You can love someone with or without feelings, and I think that will be important. So it's a commitment and a will to appreciate a person, to seek their good, because in love, you no longer are the subject. The other person you love is the subject, and I think that will be important. And it's a very, very important thing to understand that Christian love is different from the world love because of how God has taught us about a love he calls agape, where he loves us even when we do not deserve it. Isn't that what we read? We read when we in the book of first letter of John chapter 3 verse 16. This is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers. If anyone has material possessions and sees his brother in need but has no pity on him, how can he say he loves God? Dear children, let us not love with words or tongue, but with actions and in truth. So your child needs to appreciate this, that basically you appreciate him, you care about him, you are interested not in yourself but in him, and that will be something very, 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 very important. So you need to ask yourself, do you have that kind of love? Then we can say you have become friends with your children if you have that kind of love, and that will be important. My prayer is that this is something you live to honor even as you think about it, because most likely as I talk about friendship, you are thinking about your spouse, you are not thinking about your children. But parenting is friendship, is what I want to emphasize. Friendship is friendship. You can't say you really are involved in friendship when you do not care about the person whom you claim to be friends with, and that will be important. But what is friendship? When you love someone and you apply it consistently, within no time the person will start appreciating your love, and you create a friendship between you. Because friendship is not one way, it's both ways. But it may start with one person loving the other, practically, the way you have just described love, consistently for some time. Then it will create the object of the love will finally respond, and that will become friendship. So therefore, a friend is an intimate associate, somebody whom you have gotten to the level of appreciating one another and being open with one another. And this person can be a relative or not a relative, but is a kind of a person that you find helpful and you are interested in helping. Isn't that the example we have in 2 Samuel chapter 16 verse 17? Absalom said to Hoshea, so this the way you show your friendship. If he is your friend, why don't you go with him? There is a coup. Absalom has overthrown the father's government. Then the father's friend remains behind. Says, is that really friendship? Because friendship is caring for the other person. So if you hear the government is overthrown, you will side with your friend. But Hushai remained behind with the son. And that's why the son is suspecting you are not truly a friend. So a true friend, if your son is a true friend, you'll be intimate with him. And a true friend is dependable. You'll be somebody dependable. They can cram and cry, and they know you are not going to embarrass them. And I think that will be important. If you're truly a friend, It will be in line with Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all times, but a brother is born for adversity. What we are talking about is, if you are emotional, sometimes you appreciate, sometimes you don't. That's not a friend. A friend, even when the friend reacts badly, has done something that hurts, you kind of forgive them because you expect it can't be true. There must be a problem because you intend and you try to sort out the issue. And of course, with the example we have is Jesus, who loves us all the time, and we need to deal with him. Friendship is voluntary. It cannot be forced on you. And that's what makes it difficult for people. Because, for example, your wife is not necessarily your friend. She is your wife because even the marriage certificate can prove it. Friendship is different. Friendship is she has to voluntarily agree to become your friends. Your daughter must voluntarily agree to become your friend. Because friendship is voluntary. I may be trying to befriend you, but I can't force you to become my friend. I can love you without your permission, but friendship will require your participation. And therefore, that's what we are saying. That's what makes friendship so difficult. That you can love your children, do the very best for them, but they are not still your friends. Because friendship will require them to voluntarily agree to respond to your love. And that's really what makes it difficult. So that's why friendship is hard work. You have to work on someone until they can trust you, until they can be free with you. Continually love them consistently. And that will be important. So it has to be voluntary. And we have, like you have said, it will cost you something. Because true friendship will demand involvement. You know, Amos chapter 3, verse 1 and 3 says, "Hear this word the Lord has spoken against you, O people of Israel, against the whole family I brought out of Egypt. You," verse 2, "you only have I chosen of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I'll punish you for your sins. Do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so?" In other words, how can we claim to be friends if we are not in agreement? It means that whatever it is we are differing on, we need to sort it out. So until we are in agreement. So if you want friendship with me, there must be mutual respect. You talk to me and you seek my opinion. Don't just think you can force yourself on me. That is not friendship. For sure, that is not friendship. And so you need to ask clearly whether that's what you are doing. So, and if you really befriend your children when they are young, they also become your friend as they grow, there are many benefits out of that relationship. Number one, when you are down, they encourage you. When they are down, you encourage them. Number two, they'll become companions. You enjoy their company. Because friends enjoy each other's company. Because there's no father-son, it's more of close friends. And so you become companions. And this companionship removes loneliness. And that can be true all the days of your life. Your children become friends, but you have to work at it. It's expensive, it requires a lot of investment. And the reason why friendship is so important is because when they are friends with you, they will seek to improve you. They will seek to teach you things they know. You also teach to help them. Because friends sharpen each other. And I think that's basically what Proverbs 27:17 is saying. Iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. So once we become friends, we uplift each other up. And so in the end it will be on. And once you are two good friends, there is much you can accomplish. That's why in the third Tower of Babel, God said, these people have become a team. They are working united in friendship. There's nothing they cannot achieve. And they wanted to build until the tower reaches heaven. So God had to make them disagree and not be able to communicate. Friendship is teamwork. And it allows you to actually achieve much more when you operate as teams. And I think that friendship is what is actually the oil that brings successful teams together and makes them successful. And that will be important. And so we have to demonstrate this love in friendship by befriending the person and then responding to whatever they are doing. But for you to make a friend, you must show yourself friendly. You know, Proverbs 18 verse 24 is saying, a man that has friends must show himself friendly. And there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. So if you really want your children to become your friends, you must show them, you appreciate them, you must recognize their power to decide. Of course, it depends as they grow up. Slowly, you must keep opening boundaries and listening to them as they grow older until at one time they cannot see the recommendation is what you are implementing. That's what friendship is all about, where the other person feels appreciated and feels that they are contributing. It's not just one way traffic, and that will be important. And you need to ask: is that what you are doing, or not? You know, if you really want to create friendship with your children, you must show them that they are different from you. They are not you. You recognize them. That's what all dignity is all about, giving people dignity. Is recognize they are not you. They are yourself. So you don't force them. The best example is when Eliezer goes to wed to look for a woman for Isaac to wed. And Laban can see clearly God is pointing to this, his daughter becoming the wife of Isaac. But he doesn't force her. He says, the girl is called and says, would you be willing to go with this man? She said, yes. That's what gives dignity. Not forcing the child to say, you must marry so and so. You must go to such and such a school. Of course, when they are very young, like primary school level, you don't give somebody the burden of making decisions they have no information on. But as they grow older, you must allow them to become like that. You appreciate their ability to make decisions, and that will help them. So, there are 3 words that help you to show someone you appreciate them. The first one is please. Learn to tell, because if he is your friend, you appreciate them. So you don't force yourself. So when you say, please, my son, would you like to think about this and this and this? Think, is it doable? Can you participate in it? The word please means I'm not forcing you. I recognize, if you decide not to say no, I will support it. That's the word please. Many parents never say please to their children. Therefore, they never become friends. Because please is one of the vehicles that will make the person feel appreciated. And in the process, because they feel appreciated, they respond by also appreciating the other person. So the word please will be very, very, very critical. And then the other word is thank you. Don't just assume, hey, go and close the door. If they close, after all, it's my son. No, thank them. Express appreciation, what they have done. In other words, that means they could have refused to become rebellious. So if they have actually done it, you will tell them thank you. When a child feels they are not being taken for granted, it makes them feel like my father really likes me. My father really appreciates me. And that thankfulness will help to develop your relationship. a way of appreciating somebody, saying, I'm proud of you, son, I'm proud of you, proud of you, the way you play the games, I'm proud of, let the person feel like you are really, the person, the cheerleader for them as they achieve things. And I think that will be very, very important if you really want to end up. You must, genuine friendship requires you to get involved with one another. But it's physical. So, therefore, you must start going for dates with your children. Not just carrying them on and say, hey, can I take you out? Why don't you go out and have tea? Especially when they are over 10 years. They appreciate. When can I take you out? And you agree a date. And it's not for all the children, or just one child at a time. That physical presence allows them to concentrate and tell you what they are feeling, what they are happy about, and it will be important. But that's not the only thing. Confidentiality. They start hearing the things they told you. You do not tell their brother. You do not tell their sister. They now know you are real friends because they can tell you secrets. I think that will be very, very important, because they can see your involvement. That will be very important. And my prayer is that as you think about this friendship with your family, it will help you to clearly do the right things. Understand that it will require sacrifice, and that in your sacrifice, you are sacrificing without asking for a return. In other words, you are not saying, I'll do this for you so that you do. It's not scratch my back and scratch. You will do it even if they don't return. That's a friend. You care about him. So you will do whatever needs to be done. So that you feel, the person feels I'm appreciated. He's not paying back, or he's not doing something so that I do something else in return. And I think that will be important. So you will be helpful to him, and you'll be willing to take risks for their sake, for the sake of the children. And I think that will be, or whoever it is you are claiming to be friends with. So, what are we saying so far? That if you want to cultivate friendship, it will be important to show respect and dignity to them. We have also said that you need to see you as valuing them, which will be important. And you also not only approach it by saying thank you and please, you also learn to say sorry, because we fail each other. If you feel you are just a child, no. If you do wrong, if there's something you promise and you are not able to perform, let the child know that you feel terrible. If you actually do, they can tell whether you are just using words. But sorry is a word that will help to build your friendship in a big, big way. So do not justify hurting other people. If they are hurt, even if you never intended it, just simply apologize. Then once you apologize, it will heal the wound, and in the process of this forgiveness, the friendship will become even deeper. And that will be something very, very, very important. So, what are we saying? We are saying that a parent is a parent. That does not make him a friend. And we have said that friendship will be difficult, but very useful. Useful in 4 ways. Number 1, once you are friends don't like hurting each other. So your son, if he is your friend, will do his best to be of best behavior, because he will never want to hurt a friend, and the father is a friend. So one of the ways of having discipline in your family is simply friendship. Number two, we have seen that friendship creates teamwork. So the family ends up as a team, a team that can actually almost approach every challenge that's likely to come their way. So we have seen that you need friendship so that your children, your wife, your husband can become a team. And we have seen friendship is a very critical ingredient in that. We have also seen that if you truly want them in the long term to also be helpful, you need to create not the kind of thing, because if originally you are just a bank providing all they require, their pocket money, their everything, but they could not see friendship. When you are old, they also become financiers. They will send you money by post. They will provide every time you ring them. Say, hey, when you're coming home, they will send you more money. Because the understanding is that there's no friendship. They are just a bank to you, just like you are a bank to them. It's not enough that you are producing a lot of money. We have seen friendship is not just exchange of money. It's exchanging, is being free with one another, keeping confidentiality, and appreciating one another. That's really different from that you paid my school fees and you met my needs. And we've seen that when you do that, you end up with teamwork. But I think the most important thing is we have kept emphasizing that parenting, the purpose for parenting is what is given in the book of Malachi. When in Malachi chapter 2, he is saying that God made husband and wife one. Why? That they may produce a godly offspring. So the very purpose of parenting is to do it on behalf of God, produce a godly family, a godly children. And that's the responsibility God has given you. And we are saying friendship is the one that will help you. Because if the enemy tells you to do something, even if it's a good thing, you become very suspicious of it. Maybe my father wants to tell me that just so because he wants to use me. Once there is friendship, and you tell them about God, and tell them about the things, why it is good to worship God, they know my father cannot mislead me. My mother cannot mislead me. It must be good. If Papa says it's good, it is good because he's a friend. So that's what your children need to be convinced, that your interest is not your personal benefit, but their benefit. Because friends are other-centered rather than self-centered. If you discover somebody is self-centered, they want to use you to manipulate you, you run away from their friendship. Friendship only lasts where I sense that you are in this friendship, not for your own benefit, but for my benefit. You just have an interest. That's why I keep telling people misuse the word love. If you love someone, how do you know you love them? You desire their good, not your good. You don't even care. You even suffer in the process because your interest is not your safety. It is their safety. So if you say your children are your friends, they need to get the understanding that you are so interested in their good that you can even sacrifice, go out of your way just for their good. The moment they buy that, you have an easier time managing your family. You have an easier time leading them in a godly way. You have an easier time showing them the way of the cross and appreciating. But more importantly, you have bequeathed them a skill, like you have been talking about, of making friends. If they have learned friendship in their own family, it means out there in the wild, they'll know how to make friends out of enemies, how to make friends out of bosses, how to make friends out of subordinates. They'll learn how to appreciate others. They know how to create relationships. And all because they learned it in their own home. That's a responsibility of a parent And that's what you need to achieve. When you say you are a good parent, it means you have created friendship with your children. And so they enjoy your company.